We have excellent connection, baby. Here we go, guys. Markets are seeing a bit of a pullback here in real time. We have breaking news and confirmation that we could very well potentially be getting that market reversal. We have some market confirmation coming out right now on the charts that is showing us a massive indicator, a massive bullish buying indicator for altcoins. But more importantly, of course, maybe that reversal we've been looking for Bitcoin's price action to break out and get that next leg up to 75K. That is what we're diving into today. That is what we focus on in this episode. And at the end of this, I'm going to be breaking out, of course, the top altcoins, my favorite altcoin picks for this upcoming bull run. You guys know I've been dollar cost averaging the huge projects. There's a few on Twitter. Okay, there's a few on Twitter. My chat was having me look into these, not affiliated with these whatsoever, but I am going to be doing some deep dives into new projects that are going to be launching here in the near future and giving you guys my insight on that. So if you guys have favorite altcoins, let me know in the comments below. Let us, of course, give you the reasons why. First, though, I am so bullish on these market conditions. So if you look on the hourly, we have most markets pulling back. They're going to be following Bitcoin. On the daily, you have AIOZ, you have ENA, you have Render, you have AJAX, you have a few movers, but really everything is going to be following Bitcoin, which is coming down to that $62,500 level, right? I've been telling you guys, markets were more than likely going to come back down to $62,000, $61,900, upwards of $62,500 to fill that futures gap, which we'll cover in just a moment. But this coincides with the Fear and Greed Index. So the Fear and Greed Index is down just a little bit today. It was at 71 yesterday. If I get that highlighter out, you'll see 71 yesterday. Of course, extreme greed last month. This highlighter is like frozen in real time here. So is what it is. But again, 68. And you guys will know if you guys look over the max history here, anytime that your Fear and Greed Index is over 70, if you traditionally sell or take profits, you'll be able to buy back in at a better price once that price action does drop to the downside. So, for the Fear and Greed Index, it is a little bit greedy at this moment. But I want to pay attention to the liquidations because you're really going to be in that greed zone. You're going to be in light green to dark green the majority of time when you're in a bull run because everybody is buying, prices are going up, right? So you want to take advantage of those opportunities when they do see some legitimate pullbacks. But here is breaking news coming out of Bitcoin news. Bitcoin Whale just bought 767 Bitcoin for $45 million on May 3rd and sold them 4 days later for $48 million. Wow, they are taking massive trades here. Bro just made $3 million. Bro just made $3 million off like what is the easiest trade I have possibly ever seen here. Connecting stream, starting preview. I think we're good. Did we just get a little bit of a give me a 1 in chat if we're good, give me a 2 if we're not. But my studio just made a weird thing, so I don't know if it reconnected. Either way, here is the breaking news. Okay, breaking news. Share this with a friend that needs to see this, but we did see the RSI break out. Now, for some reason, some people don't like the RSI. I love the RSI. The RSI, guys, when you look at the charts, okay, when you go to Bitcoin, when you go to TradingView, and you look at the RSI over time, historically, when this thing on the daily chat, when this thing on the daily is oversold, as you can see right here, as you can see right here, as you can see right here, every time you buy, when this thing goes oversold on the daily, you're generally able to catch a really big upswing, really big upswing, really big upswing. This is about here. Again, you would have caught pretty much the bottom of the bear market. If you bought at 30K, 25K, you would have caught like the initial rally here. It's a really good time to dollar cost average into the market when the daily RSI is completely blown over, guys. And thank you for all the likes and letting me know in the chat that we are golden here. So we are seeing this in real time play out. Now, I also have been telling you guys, we're getting this massive bullish divergence to play out on the MACD. That is what started making us really, really bullish here on the oscillators. We had this bullish divergence that was converging, that was playing out. The RSI has broken out, and this is the indicator that is flashing massive bullish confirmation for the reverse signal here. We're going to come back, test this SMA. I think we can easily come down to $62,000, $61,800. But that with the liquidations we're about to cover here today, guys, is going to be the exact reasons I would be creating that watch list right now. I would be looking at those low cap altcoins you've been seething over, that you've been drooling over, that you haven't maybe dollar cost average into yet. And I'd be looking very, very closely at them, very, very closely for entry points here, because it may be your last chance to pick up cryptos at these prices for this next major move in these markets. So, of course, we saw Mr. Crypto here on Twitter pull out the market reversal confirmed. To me, yeah, this is, and could be confirmation when you're looking at that RSI. Check it out, guys. Every time this RSI breaks out, upside. Breaks out, upside. Breaks out, massive upside. Breaks out, what is next? As history shows and as history generally repeats itself, yeah, we're going to be looking at a pretty significant leg up here for Bitcoin's price, upwards of $75,000. Now, I don't know about you, chat. Got to let me know here. I need to see those fire emojis. I need to see you guys worked up, get excited. And, again, just tap that like button. There's almost 350 of you beautiful people watching right now. So just shout out to you guys for all the support and the love for all of these live streams we're doing for you guys each and every single day. We have Leon Wademan on Twitter saying extremely bullish for Bitcoin. Here's another bullish metric that just came out a few hours ago. Bitcoin exchange inflows hit lowest level since 2015 at 20K. Crypto market seems to be ready to take off. Nobody wants to sell their Bitcoin right now. It's very clear that markets are anticipating higher highs on Bitcoin's price action. It is very hard to be a bear at this level. I don't know if anybody's a bear in the chat here. I see the fire emojis coming in, so I'd imagine you guys are getting all hyped up and feeling pretty good on these markets. But it's really hard to be a bear when nobody is selling. And most of your indicators are flashing buy signals, right? Can we go to 44K, 49K? I personally don't believe so. I think it would take a black swan event to bring us down to those prices. We have also a weekly bullish close here. This was insanely bullish for Bitcoin's price action. That weekly bullish, we had 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks of downtrend in Bitcoin's market. And that 5th week candlestick, bulls ended up coming back and saying, hey, we are not done with this. We are ready for more upside in these market conditions. We have a massive bullish hammer taking place and playing out, which tells me, hey, yeah, we might have that consolidation, but again, I think we're going to be seeing that big move up to $75,000. It's another very bullish TA indicator. On top of this, you have just in breaking news, BlackRock and Fidelity now own a combined 427,000 Bitcoin worth $27 billion for their spot Bitcoin ETFs. The ETFs hold 212,000 more Bitcoin than MicroStrategy, and this is only continuing. This is honestly just growing each and every single day. There's now only positive inflows into ETFs. It is so bullish. Again, there is no supply available, right? As you can see here on the exchange flow, nobody's selling their Bitcoin. In fact, everybody's buying their Bitcoin and the supply is being reduced at the same time. We are getting ready for a massive short squeeze. Now, here is Anthony Pompliano, again on Yahoo Finance, talking about as long as the Fed continues to debase the US dollar, Bitcoin will serve as an attractive asset for investors around the world. And this is a little bit longer of a clip, but I just want you guys to hear through from what Anthony is speaking on and what, Yahoo Finance, CNBC, all of these different media channels, guys, they're having these discussions. They're realizing the US dollar is crap. It's the debasing. It's not going to go to zero. I don't believe that whatsoever, but there is a huge value to Bitcoin. Here you go.
Asset, but really the volatility of it is the US dollar exchange price. So it's how many dollars are people willing to depart with in order to get a Bitcoin. But what we have continued to see over the long run is that Bitcoin is probably the most desirable asset in the world. And so people around the world continue to buy this thing, and that's why you're seeing that 200-day moving average, right? Kind of these longer term trends continue to go up. And now with the ETFs getting approved, you not only have retail investors, family offices, a couple of corporations, now it's coming out that some of the largest RIAs, Hightower just came out and said they bought some Bitcoin. There's sovereign wealth funds, many others that are all trying to buy this thing. So I think that it's a really, really good long-term tailwind at its back.
Yeah, that's huge with the sovereign wealth funds as well. So you have nations and governments coming into this pension fund, sovereign wealth funds that are going to be accessing Bitcoin, guys. You're not going to be able to buy Bitcoin soon. Like it's going to be just completely institutionalized. And there's the days of 100K Bitcoin. I do believe they're closing in on the next year to 2 years here. Kelvin Haynes coming in with a $50 super chat. W in the chat for Kelvin. +1 Kelvin, dude. Appreciate you, man. Much love to you. Can you check out Leonard's small cap Solana token? I 100% can for you right after this, man, my guy. But guys, shout out to Kelvin here. Give him some love for the support of the channel. Appreciate you guys. Let's keep listening on.
It's a great long-term tailwind. Then where does the price go from here? We're waiting for maybe that future catalyst. Then what is the next thing that's on the horizon?
Well, the Federal Reserve is the greatest Bitcoin proponent possible, right? Because they're going to continue to debase the dollar. And so if you watch that same thing like real estate, right? Real estate in certain markets can go up or down in a month-to-month or year-to-year basis. And so if you're kind of short-term oriented, you're likely to maybe mess up. But if you buy real estate and you hold it for 20 years, very few places in the world have you not seen that real estate go up in value. Same thing thing with Bitcoin, right? It's got these sound money principles. It's outside the system. No one can create more of it. And it's priced in dollars today. And so if all of a sudden the dollar is losing value and there's only 21 million Bitcoin, somebody is going to have to pay you more dollars in the future to buy that same Bitcoin. And so I think that it really incentivizes long-term thinking. And so the people who are short-term oriented or trying to trade, it's an 80 vol asset, right? I mean, good luck. And so buying it, just holding it and waiting is probably one of the best strategies.
Well, I want to talk about the Bitcoin ETFs and some of the outflows and inflows that we're seeing. Obviously, record-breaking outflows for Grayscale to the tune of almost $17.5 billion.
Wow.
But I know they did just recently have their very first week of inflows, so congrats to them. I wonder what story that tells you. Is that something idiosyncratic to Grayscale, or is that indicative of maybe more institutional money coming into the space?
Yeah, look, I think that they knew by not lowering their fee to be competitive with everybody else that people were going to leave, and the calculation was how many people are going to leave and what is it going to make up for in terms of this fee. Now, what's really interesting is their market cap of the AUM that they have is much higher than maybe everyone expected because the price of Bitcoin is up 50%. Right? And so all of a sudden you're seeing that fund continue to grow in size, and that's really blunted a lot of the pain of those capital outflows. Now, what I do think is interesting in terms of the inflows is you got to ask yourself, like, who's buying that, right? If there's these other ETFs available, it's unclear. And until we know who that is, you really can't kind of analyze it. But I do think it speaks to this larger story of, like, fees matter to a degree, but actually when you're looking at an asset that goes up hundreds of percent, the difference between 50 basis points and 150 basis points, it's material, but really the decision is, did I allocate or did I not? That's going to ultimately drive most of the return that you're going to experience.
And so, yes, I 100% agree with that. You're going to see RIAs promoting this more and more, and we've talked about this forever on our channel, guys. That's why we've been so bullish here. But yeah, I would have to agree with everything. These are the conversations that are taking place. RIAs are only going to adopt it more. Sovereign wealth funds are only going to enjoy, come into this market more. You're going to see the more tokenization of real world assets, which we'll get to today. Of course, you guys have been seeing me drool over Ondo because I become more and more bullish on RWAs every single day. But we have Maurice coming out. Maurice! Saying Leonard here. I think the volume is good now. We'll check out Leonard in just a moment with the altcoins. So you're not expecting Bitcoin, though, coming from Seth Shepard in the chat. Great question. So you're not expecting, am I expecting Bitcoin to pull back at least 50% once this bull market ends? That is an impossible question to answer. Now, previously, any single creator would tell you yes. They're expecting Bitcoin to crash by 50%. But Bitcoin's not going to crash by 50% forever. And I'm trying to really hopefully make people understand that. Guys, as Bitcoin becomes a bigger and bigger asset and more liquidity is integrated into the market, more millionaires, more billionaires can exit and enter the market without fluctuating those prices, the stronger the asset becomes, the harder the asset becomes, and it becomes comparison to gold. So, I do expect a massive crash in any bear market, right? Gold fluctuates by 50% in its own bear markets. So yes and no. I don't know if it's going to be 50% again. It could be 30%. It could be 40%. It could be 50%. Only time will really be able to tell us, and it really depends on both the presidential election, how much sovereign wealth comes into these markets. Are we talking 1% of debt allocated into, or 1% of pension funds allocated to Bitcoin? I don't have that answer, so we have to adjust the data as it stands. As it stands of today, I'm going to have to say, no matter what, I'm here to take profits, and my first take profit zones are 75K, then again at 85K. Once you're pushing that $100,000, I'm really skeptical on it, guys. Call me a pessimistic, but straight up, look, it just 100K is going to be a huge psychological number to break. And I do think we can blow past that one day, but it's going to be really hard to. And I think that while Bitcoin might only fall by 30, 40%, maybe it doesn't go by 50%, altcoins will fall by 80, 90, 99%. So I want to make sure that everybody has those risk management strategies to take profits and reallocate their positions as needed as these markets heat up. We have Leonard, J-Rock TV, shilling his own bag should be illegal. It's not, man. I just talk about, my bags because I talk about what I'm bullish on. But hey, if you want to start your own TV channel, maybe you do, I've never heard of you, feel free to do that yourself. But why am I going to talk about assets I'm not invested into? That doesn't make sense, bro. That doesn't math. So either you got to go back to grade school or realize how things work in life. Are you still bullish on BRC20 and Bitcoin layer 2s? 100%, dude. I feel like I haven't heard much about that lately. I've been talking about them literally every single day. We talked about Swap massively yesterday and last night's stream, but still incredibly bullish on Bitcoin layer 2s and Runes Protocol. Runes Protocol printed hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in meme coins and liquidity. So beautiful, beautiful opportunity there. That's kind of what I am wondering is from, yeah, so for the 50%, Seth, it's just like we have to adjust the data as it comes in, and that makes a lot of people mad because they go, oh, it can go up or down. Well, it's like we need to know what the Feds are going to do. We need to look at the inflation numbers. We need to look at the JOLTS reports. We need to look at, you know, of course, the decisions from Congress. If they decide to embed $3 trillion in, you know, mortgage tweaks that allow people to borrow against their assets or their homes, that can inject another $3 trillion in liquidity into our markets. Those things all matter. And that's why, you know, you got to kind of, in a market, guys, you have buyers and you have sellers, and it's going to constantly feed back and forth, and you have to adjust the data as it does run into, you know, runs its course. We have King Bitcoin DeFi is useless. Bitcoin, is it made for DeFi? You're completely wrong and irrelevant. Why is there so many other plays out there? Again, DeFi is coming to Bitcoin. Guys, we don't need to argue this anymore. Bitcoin DeFi is real. People want to borrow and lend and, you know, hedge against their Bitcoin all they want. There's tons of Bitcoin DeFi protocols being built and developed today. Bitcoin's the largest crypto by market cap. It's the most liquid asset out of any crypto that exists in our markets. It's one of the most liquid assets in the world. You got to stop. You got to pull away from that cult-like mentality. I don't know if you're into XRP, but you have to realize Bitcoin DeFi is real. It's just getting started. When you have Marathon Digital launching their own Bitcoin layer 2s, you have MicroStrategy embedding their own digital identity methods. Bitcoin lending and borrowing is going to become massive. You already seen it on Stacks and Alex Labs. There is a huge market there for Bitcoin DeFi. Is it slower? Is it not as good as other DeFi and other systems? Sure, but it doesn't matter. The market exists. It is there. Of course, it will drop by more than 30%. Of course. My favorite crypto guys, what's up, man? Much love to you. CSwap versus XSwap. For sure, the CSwap here, but we'll get to more questions in just a second because I know you guys want me to get to the altcoins here very, very soon. So here's a must-watch from Stan Druckenmiller on Bidenomics and the current government deficit. So if I was a professor, and guys, if you were a professor, make sure you smash this like button. I'm just kidding. There was a terrible intro there. I'd give him an F. Treasury is still spending like we're in a depression, and we have a 7% budget deficit at full employment. It's unheard of. Check this out.
In terms of fiscally as well, in Bidenomics.
Bidenomics, if I was a professor, I'd give him an F. Basically,
would you give, let me know Biden's rating for you for his economic, you know, his plans. Is it an A? Is it a B? Is it a C? Is it a D? Or is it an F? Let me know in chat. I want to see what you guys think the economic power is behind their plan in this current administration.
Misdiagnosed COVID and thought we were going into a depression. The Fed did too. I worried about it too in early days. The Fed eventually pivoted, better late than never. Treasury is still acting like we're in a depression. It's interesting because I've studied the Great Depression, and you had a private sector crippled with debt with basically no new ideas. So interventionist policies were called for and were effective. The private sector could not be more different today than it was in the Great Depression. Their balance sheets are fine, they're healthy, and have you ever seen more innovative ideas that the private sector could take advantage of now? You've got blockchain, you've got AI, you've got the whole thing. All government needed to do was get out of their way and let them innovate. Instead, they've spent and spent and spent. And my new fear now is that spending and the resulting interest rates on the debt that's been created are going to crowd out some of the innovation that otherwise would have taken place. We've got a 7% budget deficit at full employment. It's unheard of. And this is when you've got grid spending, you have you've got defense spending, you have data center spending,
for AI.
And then, of course, you have green. Yep. So this spending is going to take place. You're going to build a capital stock. How do you build a capital stock when government is intruding with regulations and all this spending And it's just sad because I think we're looking at one of the most exciting periods in terms of potential productivity enhancing investments ever. And why we're spending like we're still in the Great Depression is beyond me. And they haven't stopped, as you know. They're trying to circumvent the Supreme Court to give money to kids who had the opportunity to go to college, who haven't repaid their loans. You know, Harlem Children's Zone, our motto was always, get them into college so they have a shot. These are kids that went into college, and we're talking about spending hundreds of billions of dollars to put in their pockets. I assume it's because of the election. They're now floating ideas for Fannie and Freddie to change the rules so you can refinance. You can take out a second lien mortgage.
Yeah, this is crazy.
And you get to keep the rate on the first mortgage at whatever you did during COVID. There's one spending program or another. We don't need spending right now. We just need the government to get out of the way and let the private sector do its thing.
Yeah, what a genius, dude. Like, that is exactly what I was talking about here. Someone said, I don't trust the drunken Miller, but I have to agree with everything this man just said. This is what we were talking about before we even watched this clip was, you know, again, they're trying to do crazy things, which all seem like it's pretty much for votes. It's not sustainable. While they're saying we have this budget, right, we have the 7% deficit, you know, at the same time, they're saying, okay, well, if you want more education, you have to take that from Social Security. If you want more Social Security, you got to take that from agriculture. When you want that more agriculture, you have to take that from, you know, some other part of the government funding or spending. But at the same time, they're spending relentless and unlimited capital and money in other adversary or in other industries, whether it's primarily, you know, military. It's military. It's a lot of the foreign adversaries and the foreign wars that we're, you know, starting to fund ourselves. There's no budget or restraint against that. We're just spending as much as he said, like we are, as if we were in the Great Depression. So very interesting. I think it's going to continue to do exactly what he said, which is what is forcing innovation outside the United States. You know, putting these taxing the rich, taxing the wealthy. Well, yeah, the regular people don't understand what that means. It means like, you know, your 100 millionaires, your billionaires, the people with all the money that invest into all the innovation. Well, it's going to push them out of the States and push them into other innovation elsewhere, which is insanely bad for the longevity of our markets, and people need to realize that. Just an observation, Josh, can you look up Seamless Protocol? I can pull up, I'm going to pull up Seamless, and I got to pull up the other one here let me pull up Leonard here for the $50 super chat before we get to the next spot. And again, guys, I'm going to be sharing you my favorite altcoin picks at the end of this video. We will be jumping in on that here in just a minute, but this is a $600,000 market, guys. This is a meme coin, so it's a meme coin. So take this, it's a 10 out of 10 risk here. But I'm doing it because Kelvin here is a GOAT and supported the channel with that $50 super chat. So small cap Solana coin. I'm going to guess this is, just Leonard the Lemur here. 25% in the liquidity pool pre-sale. It is going to be insanely high risk, brother. It's a cute little emoji. Great. It's a little Leonard. But you guys know I do not do meme coins. So, this is a cute slot machine. There you go, brother. That's a cute little slot machine. Wish you the best. Hope you hit that jackpot. But that's as much as I could say on Leonard there. I do like the Madagascar vibes though. So I do like the Madagascar look to that here. So shout out to you there. What do we have? Seamless Protocol though. I'll pull up real quick, so that way don't forget and I can get to it at the end of the stream with the rest of our altcoins. To be honest, you shouldn't listen to anything this guy said. Joshua Jake is the type of person that will tell you to sell your AI coins for RWA or Bitcoin DeFi, which is made up at this point. J-Rock, look, man, you can keep hating because I sold AI at the exact top on the GTC summit and you held your bags, 50% down while we took $100,000 in profit. But hey, J-Rock, look, man, don't know what crawled up your ass, but hey, still love you in the community, man. You can enjoy being negative for the rest of your life if you hold your bags to zero. I was just clowning his name. I actually agree with him. It's a false hope. Biden voters got us in this situation. J-Rock, it is fair to have your positive vibes, baby. If Bitcoin hits 95K, will you give us enough time for alt season? Dude, if Bitcoin hits 95K, somebody. If Bitcoin hits 95K, the majority of your altcoins are going to be doing 2 to 3x that are in your top 30, and you'd probably have a ton of cryptos do 10 to 20 to 30x's. You'll see 100x's at that rate. You're talking about 30% in Bitcoin's price action, which is hundreds of billions and billions of dollars that'd be flooding into this market. That'd actually be $500 billion roughly that would move into this. So I would say, dude, at that point, there would be an alt season with that. 100% completely with that. I've listened to him since the beginning. He's smart as hell. Two guys. Hey, much love. Can we get to some? We could just get some love for J-Rock. J-Rock needs some love. He wasn't hugged enough as a child. It's okay. That's what we do in this community, guys. We bring them together. We bring we take those cult members that were stuck in their ways. They're maximalists. We bring them in here and we turn them into good people. So, let's get some W's in the chat for our boy here, J-Rock TV. But past that, we have, let's move on to the next topic here, guys, because I want to get to these altcoins. I know you guys want me to get into liquidations, which we're about to cover here in 2 seconds. So let's just break through some of the real stories. Nancy Pelosi made $7 million in stock market, in the stock market just last week. Nancy Pelosi, insider bags, the real shill master G here. Okay, this is the top G of insider and shilling trading here. It's Nancy Pelosi here. This is the largest weekly gain we've seen from any politician since we released our dashboard. Nancy Pelosi here is the GOAT. She made $500,000. She's up $500,000. Daily percentage. Dude, she's crushing it. Mark Green, Mitt Romney, Sarah Jacobs, Mark Warner. You'll notice it's both Democrat and Republicans, all inside trading, because your politicians do not work for you. They work for the corporation, and they just inside trade. And unfortunately, guys, we don't get to do that. It's illegal for retail to do that, but it's completely legal for the Pelosi's of the world out there. Right, this is the real battle undecided. This is by far the largest group. Find out where politicians stand on crypto. This is a really cool takeaway here. Let me open up the image in a new tab so you guys see these names a little bit better. So crypto drives American innovation. Keeping America crypto is securing 4 million jobs over the next 7 years. What is this? So Democrat pending. Hold on, I got to read what the article is on this. Strongly against American. So this is strongly against Americans owning digital property. So open image in new tab. So if you like crypto, okay, guys, if you like for crypto, let's get some. I only want to see L's in the chat now, though. Okay, let's see a bunch of L's. I want to see you guys spam L's in here. So hopefully there's a politician watching this stream that just sees how much, they're just, how lame they are. Like, just give them a bunch of L's. Let them know how terrible of a human being they are, because they think they're doing what's right, but they're completely wrecking retailers and doing what's best for elitists. You have Elizabeth Warren. Okay, I only want to see L's in here. Elizabeth Warren, L's against. Do not vote for her. Brad Sherman, do not vote for her. Tina Smith, do not vote for her. Sheldon Whitehouse, do not vote for him. Angus King Jr., do not vote for him. Gary Peters, do not vote for him. Gene Shaheen, do not vote for him. You'll notice, there's a lot of a certain party that hates crypto and digital assets. So if you care about crypto, like, this is a political issue because it's a bipartisan issue. But the reality is, if you care about crypto and you don't want to unless you want to move out of the United States, we're going to need a very big change and shift in our markets here, guys, because, you have both sides, Tony Gonzalez, Carlos Jimenez, Republican here. You have one independent. There's people, and we're still getting more insight on their pending beliefs from the opposing parties here too. So if you guys care about digital assets, just really, really, really pay attention to these elections. Vote in this election cycle, because if you don't, there's a high opportunity it's going to get pushed out of the United States, and you're going to have to move as well. And I'm serious about that. So you had, of course, Chartered Bank coming out today. They said Donald Trump, and I don't mean to be I'm not trying to choose a side here, guys. I'm just giving you guys the facts here. Standard Chartered Bank came out and said, like, if you care about crypto and Bitcoin, again, there's a certain person you got to. Do you want socioeconomic beliefs, or are you an economical person? Right? Where do you stand on those beliefs? But again, crypto. Just realize this is where we're going. These are the hardships we have to talk about. And if you're not comfortable talking about these things, unfortunately, like, you just, I don't know. That's how the economy works, guys. Like, we're dealing with a kleptocracy. We're dealing with lobbyists that are resulting in, they're changing our regulations, and our regulations are being, chosen and developed and passed by politicians that are being paid for by the same corporations. So it's like, we're stuck, and we need to make change here. The SEC's statutory mission is to protect investors, facilitate capital formation, and maintain fair, orderly, efficient markets. Chairman Gensler is violating all three of these with this illegal SAB 121 rule. So you do have Tom Emmer coming out and saying this.
Chairman Gary
today. That is very loud.
Broke my ears. Characterized by regulatory hypocrisy, inconsistency, and incompetence.
Bro, True goes, I want to catch Brad Sherman outside.
The Securities and Exchange Commission Staff Accounting Bulletin 121, commonly known as SAB 121, is just one example of Chair Gensler's egregious attempts to expand the SEC's authority and his clear bias toward the digital asset ecosystem. More than 2 years ago, the SEC disguised this illegal rule as guidance, circumventing Congress and public input so they could prevent banks from safeguarding consumer-owned digital assets. However, this rule isn't just overreaching and illegal. It violates the SEC's statutory mission. First, SAB 121 introduces more unnecessary and avoidable concentration risk into the digital asset ecosystem, making our markets less fair, less orderly, and less efficient. Second, it weakens investor protections by barring Americans from using the established banking infrastructure to custody their digital assets, which leaves Americans' assets more vulnerable if a custodian becomes insolvent. And third, this rule hampers capital formation and global competitiveness as foreign banks already have the ability to compete in crypto markets while our banks cannot. The SEC's statutory mission is to protect investors, facilitate capital formation, and maintain fair, orderly, and efficient markets. Chairman Gensler is violating all three of these with his illegal SAB 121 rule. Later this week, House Republicans, we're going to do our job to provide oversight and accountability to the SEC by passing Congressman Mike Flood's resolution so that this illegal and harmful rule ceases to be in effect. I hope that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle will join us as we work to ensure the digital asset ecosystem can thrive right here in the United States.
So, like, again, Gary Gensler, dude, you don't want to be voting for at all. And this is someone that's very, very pro-crypto. But at the end of the day, look, again, you have to look at oh, did I delete him? Hey, Tiggle Biddies, I'll put it in the Telegram chat because I did accidentally delete him. He is also one of the best stock traders in the United States, so there is that to take for it. But realize, guys, Gary Gensler, Chairman Gary Gensler, the SEC, they got to go. Guess who chooses who the SEC commissioner is? It is the president. The president is who instates both the CFT commissioner, the CFTC commissioner, your Supreme Court justices. That's what's matter. You got to realize, okay, whoever you vote into a position of power, who is, creating the roles and allocating those roles, or I'm forgetting, spacing on the word right now, appointing these positions. So right now, Gary Gensler, he's got to go. Gary Gensler, say it with me, has got to go. He is trash. He is bottom of the barrel. Terrible for the market. Terrible for the market. You have U.S. Congressman Brad Sherman says that the crypto industry makes money by literally making money. And we don't need to watch this full clip, but it's funny, guys. If you haven't listened to Brad Sherman, listening to Brad Sherman's like, watching paint dry. It's like listening to someone, scratch a chalkboard. This dude couldn't be more uneducated. Seriously, it's like when he talks about digital assets, it's like he doesn't even care to look up and understand what they are. And this man's like, it'd be like putting a 10-year-old in charge as a general of war. Like, hey, here you go, manage these 100,000 troops, right? That is what Brad Sherman is. He is just, these are the people making the decisions, and it's terrible. So let's move on here, though, because I want to get, through this pretty quickly. We do have Render here. Apple just presented Octane, so shout out to everybody in chat that holds Render, that is in the AI sector. For AI, I am, starting to look back into the industry. I think there's some great entry points at these levels now. We saw a massive sell. We've sold the exact top of the market on the GTC Summit at the 17th. I did, unfortunately, have to put the good old J-Boy in time out because he was just cranky. He was crying too much, and it was embarrassing. And for the people in the room, we wanted to save the embarrassment from him. But ultimately, Render did just have Apple present their Octane X, which is completely powered by Render itself as the pro rendering app on the new iPad. You can literally see the Render logo in the video. Check this out for 9 seconds here.
Apps like Octane will flat out fly with up to 4 times faster performance than M2.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool if you ask me. There's your Render logo in the top left corner. So Render community is excited for the new Apple iPad here. It's really cool to see again. Really cool to see. Render is definitely the top of the game on this. I love Near Protocol as well. You do have some competitors out there that are, doing decentralized computing and whatnot as well. You have Mr. Crypto coming out here saying it's not stop until it reaches $200. Now, my price prediction on Render, chat, I don't think it's going to hit that $100 range. Man, maybe I am a pessimistic, and you guys are like, Josh doesn't know what he's talking about. Look, I mean, I've seen render since 70 cents. So, I just like to have everybody, prepared for what's to come. I do think if we get a blow off top, though, if Bitcoin goes to 95K, a render at $30 to $50 isn't going to blow my mind. It's not going to be something that goes, oh, that doesn't make sense, because it is one of those products out there in the market that has a working product, that has a decade of company and products behind it with their founder, has the integrations with NVIDIA, has been on stage with Jensen, their CEO has. There's a lot of value to that and the products that are being integrated with things like Apple products. It is a real thing. So that is huge. Derev, DEX, Elixir integrations are just starting and already dominating order book liquidity. We got Dydix is integrating as well here. I'm not huge into Elixir though, so we'll move on from this article. And let's get into some of the DGen picks here. So you have EIP 7702 is a new alternative for 3074 from Vitalik to add quantum resistance and better compatibility for 4337. I wanted to just highlight this here. I don't need to go over the technicals or click on the article. I just wanted to, for the retailers out there that always goes, well, what happens when quantum blockchain comes out? Quantum resistance blockchain already exists. In fact, Bitcoin's already quantum resistant. The quantum proof, I do believe, is going to be integrated in the future. So there is that in the sense of, if you guys are worried about that, it's still years and years away, but there are protocols and updates and proposals that are embedding more quantum resistant and more quantum proof blockchain systems. So have that, in the back of your head if you guys are asking those questions. We had breaking news today. This came out just a few hours ago. New research co-authored by former Greenpeace activist and environmental economist, PhD, confirms, guys, Greenpeace activist confirms that Bitcoin mining is a powerful tool to clean up the environment and mitigate methane emissions. Would you look at that? Okay, so to the people in the chat that can't speak anymore because I put them in a little timeout, they need a little spanking. Yeah, those individuals that don't think Bitcoin is good, that DeFi is not going to grow, well, again, another slap to your face, guys. Bitcoin could be used to clean up the world. It could be used to clean our environment, to save our environment. And it sounds so dumb. It sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. And I've been teaching you guys this with things like, of course, the methane emissions from flare gassing or from flaring, from landfill emissions, from power grids, wherever these emissions are coming from, you can convert that and use it and create an economic value out of what was once an economic waste. So that's just it's a beautiful, beautiful moment in these markets here. We have breaking news again as Bitcoin is now below $63,000. I'm expecting us to come to these. So let's get to the liquidation charts here. Bitcoin liquidation map here. I think, guys, we're going to come down to 61,900. I told you guys here. I've been saying it and saying it and saying it. You cannot say I didn't tell you here. I think we're going to come in and grab this liquidity. 62,480 right there. You can see it on the exchange on the daily. We got a ton building up above us, though, at 65K. So I do think we can easily come down to these ranges and maybe grab this last amount of liquidity. I'll draw it out there for you right here. That last amount of liquidity right here, I do think we can get a windshield wiper effect, wiping out these positions, eating it all away, and creating a negative delta spread on the charts for us to bounce and move higher, which we are seeing right now on the chart. So we are seeing it get eaten away, but I do believe we need to go down to all the way to 62K to see it wiped out. Excuse me. Significantly there. So we still got 7 billion. Would like to see that come down a little bit further before we move higher. And that is going to look at, we have a naked point of control at 61.75. I would think would be a good resistance area, but we have the delta here uneven at 65.5 and 65.3 that I do believe we're going to come in and fill this imbalance in that market here, and we can see that now on the liquidation. So the other side of this would be $65,000, which of course I do think we can grab right here. I think we could come up and actually eat all of that liquidity. And then again, when we actually click off this highlighter, we go to the 30-day, you guys will see that there's $11 billion at $72,000. There's $11 billion in potential liquidations, which far exceeds the $5 billion that is below us. There's way more liquidity stacked up above us. And if we come down to $61,000, guys, if we come down to 61K right here, the majority of the liquidations below us gets wiped out anyway. Half of it does. Half of it gets wiped out by simply going to 62K or 61.8. So I do think we get a little bit of a flash wick down, but then that opens up massive opportunity for an upside swing here later this week on Bitcoin's price action or moving into next week. And I do think we will see that upside here soon, especially as we approach the NVIDIA earnings reports. So looking again at the charts here, we have that bullish divergence playing out on the MACD. I don't know why I can't pull up the... oh, my indicators disappeared. I showed you it a little bit earlier, though. The RSI has broken out on the daily in a very, very bullish pattern. We can come back and test that trend line, but I do think we're going to break higher and see those higher highs here soon in the next month. For the people that said sell in May, walk away, well, you know, they could just, they might just be crying, to be honest, at this point, because Bitcoin's up from $56,000, which is, you know, that's a significant amount. It's 15% of Bitcoin's price action. People don't, you know, seem to realize that. So let's go ahead and jump into the altcoin markets here today. You know, of course, there's tons and tons of altcoins that exist out there, and it's really hard to pick and choose, right? There's no right answer, Josh. Why don't you talk about these projects more? Well, yeah, at the end of the day, guys, I only have so much liquidity, and even if I have $1 million, I'm not putting that into 100 projects, right? I might be into 20 to 30 at a time. You can't manage that big of a portfolio. You can't manage as one person that many assets. So let me know the altcoins you guys are buying. Let me know in chat right now. What altcoins are you buying? What altcoins are you picking up? Because it stands right now, there is a few that I'm watching. Okay, there is a few that I'm watching. One, of course, you guys were talking about today, I do need to address it, is XSwap, because people are, you know, were really hyped about this project being in the BUIDL program. Completely flopped. We never ended up getting into this or doing anything with them. I did make a thread on them, though, to just highlight that Chainlink is being built on top of. I think they actually have a $10 million market cap. I think this is off a little bit, but flopped completely on the on the launch. So if you guys were wondering about XSwap, there is one that I like better, and I have worked with them in the past, but they're incredibly bullish, guys. These guys are building on Chainlink CCIP. It's insanely interoperable. It's a privacy layer, $100 million market cap, showing a lot more support than XSwap itself. So it's really up to you to make that play. And they also have way more products than XSwap. And I'll show you here. So you, of course, have your DeFi limits, but this is a cross-chain swap interoperability. So you can send from XRP to Solana, from Solana to Avalanche, from Avalanche to Bitcoin, from Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the only one that's not on it, to Ethereum, from Ethereum to, you know, Cosmos. You could cross-chain swap all from one dApp for the first time. And this is made possible because of Chainlink. Chainlink is beautiful. Chainlink's an awesome project. So that's the answer to that question there. We have ORDS here. ORDS I talked about yesterday. ORDS I really like. It's, you know, Bitcoin DEX. I think it's the Uniswap of Bitcoin. I think there's going to be a lot of value to that. I haven't even seen what the price action is. Down a little bit today. But that 10-cent range I think is a perfect opportunity at these ranges. I do believe that is going to come back in a big way. Let's go to Star Atlas. I haven't heard about that one in a while. Are they still around? To be honest, Star Atlas. Swapping Atlas tokens on non-Solana. Yeah, it just died, man. Man, that blood. Market caps. Yeah, look at the dilution there. Yeah, this is the problem I have with gaming tokens. Is I would rather invest in the gaming infrastructure and to the infrastructure like layers that games are built on. Just because, and I don't know, maybe I have to look into this a little bit more, but there's going to be so much dilution within an in-game economy. And at the same time, not only are you trying to create a sustainable tokenomic, you know, attributed system, but you're also trying to create an addictive game that, you know, continuously keeps that in-game economy growing. So you're doing with like two of like the most impossible tasks at the same time. That's where I kind of stand with that. These can pump though in a bull run. If they have a huge partnership, they can move. But I'll kind of keep at that. Going to Seamless here, though, because we did have chat ask about Seamless. Let's go to Seamless. Actually, did I not pull it up? My bad. Seamless Protocol here. Up 7.58% today. $47 million market cap. Fully diluted valuation at $600 million. So that means there's a lot of tokens that are going to be released to this network. It was just launched in December. Contract built on top of Base. I do like to see that. I am bullish on Base. DeFi borrowing and autopilot, that's Seamless. So Base users choose Seamless to lend, borrow, and multiply their favorite DeFi assets. The lending borrowing platform for all your favorite Base assets. I don't know about you, chat. Like, let me know, bullish or bearish on Base? Bullish or bearish on Base? Let me know. Because I am very much bullish on Base here. But lending, borrowing, these are great DeFi protocols that you will make a lot of money on if you get in early enough in, you know, in these in these cycles. They also, it looks like they had a day one listing on top of Coinbase, and that could be kind of bullish here. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go to their, let's go to CoinGecko. That already pulled up. There we go. I want to see how much liquidity is locked. So liquidity at 500,000. They're a $48 million market cap. So I would definitely like to see that get built up a lot more. There's going to be a lot of dilution, though, from the VC side because you're going to be pretty much VC dumps. We have a sustainable. You want to see this right here, guys. You want to see the pooled seam versus USDC pretty much at even right here with the amount of liquidity within both of them. But let's go over to, let me go to the base explorer because I would like to see. So we have 500,000. So USD seamless, ERC tokens. Wait, where's my holders? I want to go to the contract address, and I want to go to. Hold up, could just click on it from here. Should be this one. I haven't used base scan yet. I want to see how much holders they have. How many holders they have. A contract creator at transaction here. I could probably just go to this too. And then I'm going to type in seam. $23 million locked. So there's $23 million locked. Market cap, FDV, median developers. Oh, it doesn't pull up on here too because I wanted to see. So view on. It should be here. I don't know why it won't pop up. I got to find that. But either way, it doesn't matter because I want to look at the total value locked. So 23 million value locked with a $48 million market cap. That's actually pretty bullish. They had 92 million at one point. So your market cap, half their value is locked at $48 million. But I would have to do a deep dive here into the use case and everything before I had given the ultimate decision. But it's a decentralized non-custodial liquidity market to create seamless. It could end up being very bullish. It could be like a pendle. It could, so this could honestly do really, really well at a $48 million market cap. There is dilution though. So the next thing I want to look at here is going to be the token unlocks, which would be, I could dive into honestly if you want to real quick, but I'm going to pull up some other charts here. I would look for whoever was asking for seamless in here. What I would look at is, okay, only 20% of the tokens are out. How fast are those, distributed amongst holders? Is there a 6-month cliff for early investors? When's the marketing, but when does all of that release? And past that, that's where I would make my decision on, okay, if this is high risk or not. Right now, though, I'd have to say it's the higher risk, but if base does go the way everybody thinks it's going to perform, DeFi borrowing and lending is going to be huge on there. And they do have a decent amount of value locked within its ecosystem already, which is it's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see. So here you go. Nope, that's not even within it. So tokens. Yeah, so I have to pull up the token unlock chart. Yeah, because look at that, DGen 2. Interesting. Gensler is a crook, 100%. POW. We got a POW here. I'm gonna leave up seamless. Shout out to whoever brought up seam. I'm gonna look into seam more. I want to look into that more. I actually want to do a little bit of a deep dive. POW we've looked at a lot though. It's a hyped up AI project. It's been really, really hyped. You'll notice that it had a whoop and then crashed like this. Look at this, guys. How many people can say that they sold the top of AI? Nobody but us. Let's go, baby. Let's freaking go, right? So dropped by 50%, went from roughly 80, actually more than that, almost 80 cents to 30 cents. So dropped by like 60%. So it would have been a great, great buying opportunity around that 30-cent range here. But PAL AI, main site rerouting. So create, integrate advanced crypto and AI bots. There are no limits. This is just going to be a SaaS model essentially, where they're developing many different APIs for developers to use it, integrate API or bots, and that could be used for trading tools. It could be used for probably Telegram chat, etc. They have had a couple of big announcements of partners recently that I haven't seen too much, but that's where the value comes from it. So my question for all of these are: look, can they make a lot of money in this bull run? 100%. But what's the actual value of the token? Is it just access to their models? If the case, is this a B2B? Is it B2B to C? Is it B2C to B? Is it what, what is the actual campaign and what's the actual market that they're able to obtain? Because when you have 1,000 copy and paste AI custom bot solutions, there's a lot out there, right? Which ones are going to survive in the long term? I can't tell you that, right? Once ChatGPT 5 is released, is that going to make all the GPT 3.5 and 4s obsolete, and all the ones that launch on ChatGPT 5, are they going to be better? I can't tell you that. So what I say with all these AI solutions, because I do have an AI video that I'm working on right now, because there's people wanted me to cover there's Your AI, there's Type AI, there's Pal AI, there's all of these different AIs. What I want to say is look, if you're going to diversify into that sector, have your pillars, right? My pillars would be Near. My pillars would be Render. Those are the top of my AI, because all of AI relies on the rendering. It relies on the infrastructure. So I'd create a diverse portfolio personally that, dollar cost averages or VC deploys. Instead of just choosing Bal AI, I'd be choosing Pal and its 9 competitors, right? That's how I would play that out. But it is definitely possible to make a decent amount of money on that. And of course, if NVIDIA's earnings reports come out very bullish, right? They beat expectations again. A lot of these AI tokens might see all-time highs again pretty easily. But for the longevity, the bull run, will they survive a bear market? I don't know. I can't, they might get hit by 90%. So you want to make sure you have that strategy. You want to make sure you're able to take those profits. So let me go to my favorite ones, because I said top altcoin picks here. Some of the ones obviously I'm going to have to do, you guys want me to talk about my favorites, are going to be Swap again, which is a DEX, right? Swap is going to be one of my favorite holdings here. Of course, I'm going to talk about my projects, guys. There's also projects that I don't hold, like Aerodrome. Aerodrome I did not get a massive bag of. I hold Velodrome. But again, this is on top of Base. I'm very, very bullish on Base, and this is going to be the top AMM and central liquidity and marketplace for that. So here you're going to be able to, it's going to just reward all the stable and growth opportunity on a part of it. They have $663 million value locked, though, a part of the system already, which is literally pretty much the same market cap. So huge advancements here for protocols and liquidity pools developing on top of Base, which makes me really bullish. And this is why you're going to need DeFi, lending, and borrowing protocols as well. So, realize that value there. Base is backed by Coinbase, which is backed by BlackRock. I think everybody could do the math. So really, really like Arrow. It's only a $500 million market cap still. The other one is 100% going to be Velodrome. And again, guys, I'm in a lot of projects, but I can't be in all of them at any given moment. So these are just some that I really like. Velodrome went all the way up to, 35 cents. It's back down. It has not broken out yet. So I do think there might be an opportunity here for Velodrome, because it did start running as Aerodrome popped off. $100 million market cap in a very similar position as Aerodrome itself, though. Orion, I don't even know what Orion is. Let's pull up the Orion here. Orion is going to be Orion. I haven't looked into Orion. Can I give you that one? Need your analysis on it. All right, let's jump into this. Thanks for the info, Josh. I just sold all my Bitcoin because it's going to go down to Oh, Mars. You really get me sometimes. Market cap here, $50 million. Been around since January. Really hasn't seen any life here. Let's click on market cap. Changes it a little bit. What is this? What is this? Save time with Orion. Best prices, your wallet, global address. So it's going to be an aggregator. Earn more. Refer and earn. A DEX with the liquidity of a SEX. Decentralized access on Binance. So it's a decentralized exchange. It's like a 1-inch. I think it's like a 1-inch. So it's like a centralized DEX. I kind of like it's a very sexy DEX. I kind of like their marketing. Website needs to have way less fill, if that makes sense. Needs to be way less fill. So referrals, okay, whatever. click on products. So they have a cross-chain atomic bridge. They have superior swaps, so it's really good swaps. Cheaper trades comparable to one. Yeah, so look at that. Look at that. What did I tell you? Cheaper trades, so it's an aggregation layer for DEXs, but also is going to allow you to have a lot of the same DEX and SEX trading tools because of the integrations to Binance. Probably the most advanced SEX and DEX liquidity aggregator. Again, I am really bullish on CCIP from Chainlink. I think it's going to make these interoperability functionalities a lot better. But could be a decent play. I mean, in the sense of the tokenomics, I would want to know why they've not at all came back this market. You did see that, but went from 70 cents. It's only done a 2x this market. Why? That would be my question. Just not being used a ton, I guess, would be the answer to that. So, the fact that it didn't hit all-time highs that second run up in September, either it's a marketing issue or it's a product issue. So I'm gonna say 2 out of 10 on this one, brother. 2 out of 10 on this one. Has a decent product, has potential, but the liquidity doesn't seem to be there. And I'd have to run into, let me pull it up. Let's pull it up on DeFi Llama so I can give you a little bit more of an insight there. DeFi Llama. Let's go to Orion. Orion pools, baby. Yeah, 5 million value locked. No, it's like a dead chain. To me, this just looks like a dead chain. It still exists. It's a product, but it's like weekly commits. Well, we got some. There is some development. They had 5 different commitments to GitHub, which is, there is development, but it's a phantom chain. So this is something you'd have to dive into, get in their Telegram, get in their Discord, and talk to their team and be like, yo, what the heck's coming? What are you guys doing to completely shift this narrative, which is, hey, Orion pools is a dead protocol, essentially. Because 5 million, I mean, that's not a lot. For being around for 4 years, there's so many other competitors and liquidity pool providers, that just have way higher value locked. They have way more total value locked. They have way more raise. They have way more adoption. So that would be, I'm going to give you a 20% reading on this because it's got a decent product and maybe they can grow. But, I mean, it's really, I would need a lot of answers from the team before I decided to touch that. Aptos I really like. For example, Aptos here, but that's not just, this is a layer. We're going to go to, it's not the same thing. Aptos has a ton of liquidity lock. Aptos I would compare to like ICP. This is why I don't like ICP, guys. ICP has no value locked on their network. If you go to like ICP, I'll make this make sense for you guys. ICP, yeah, $90 million value locked. There's not a lot of development on IC's community. There's just not. They have a lot of GitHub and they have a lot of development taking place, but no one's actually using the chain. When you look at revenue, like revenue on the system, there's not a lot of revenue generation that's actually taking place on the chain. So when you go to like Aptos, which is a much newer project than, ICP, and it has 3 times the amount of value locked, it's still generating a lot of GitHub. There's weekly build outs, etc. They have, all these commitments taking place. It's got more, there's more development, there's more use cases, more things taking place. You can go to commitments right here. All right, we got commitments. You got your commits rising. This month's been slower, but April was still a pretty good month for the commitments to actually, how many times? 3,000 commits? Or is that commitments? I can't even read down there because it's so blurry. But there's a lot. There's a lot happening there. So Swee's another great example. Swee's got $647 million locked. You have Optimism, which is one of the biggest at $864 billion. Base is literally not even out yet, has $1.566 billion. So when someone goes, Josh, you don't understand the tech. No, it's like, dude, there's projects that are newer, quicker, faster, better, cheaper, backed by Coinbase, etc., that have like 40 times the amount of value locked in that network, 40 times the amount of commitments. But I see they do have the most commitments, I think, out of like any chain. So there's takeaways not, but this is why, like, when I look at these DeFi protocols or anything, guys, like I'm constantly looking at their value locked, their tokenomic unlocks, like their team, right? Okay, maybe they have a strong product and, terrible marketing, but their team is insane. And you can go in their Telegram and ask, hey guys, what are you doing to make this switch, right? These are the things you got to ask yourself, or else like, how is a product like this could sustain itself? Base can grow for years. They have massive runway, a huge treasury. They can make thousands of, maybe they can make 10 times the amount of F-ups or, you know, mistakes as other networks because they have way more value, right? There's a lot of, those are the things you got to kind of analyze when you're holding things for the longevity. Or it's the $5 on the top. Or it's, I think, go to like 50 cents, man. I mean, I'm not looking for, 100x off that. It's already a $60 million market cap. I mean, it could. I couldn't tell you, though. I want to see how well Bitcoin, DeFi, and Layer 2s develop. And I think Swap is positioned to be one of the leaders in that industry by far. So, yeah. So, guys, the biggest takeaways here, I'm extremely bullish on Base's community. I'm going to say Aerodrome. Aerodrome is definitely one of those, ones that you want to be paying attention to. You want to watch out for. Also, a little cool trick here is go over to, go to DeFi Llama, pull them up, and go through like the top projects. So you'll see that Base here has Moonwell, right? It's on 2 chains. It's on Moonbeam and Base, and it has 70 million dollars, locked into it. So maybe Moonwell, right? Which I know a lot of you have talked about. Maybe Moonwell might be something you want to watch into. 80 million in market cap, much smaller. Been around for, since 2022. Had, terrible sell-off, which means they probably sold out to the wrong VCs, which used the wrong KOL groups and just got dumped on. But when you look at market cap, yeah, market cap completely shifts. These are where you might be able to find that opportunity, right? We're looking at the 3-month time frame now. This is a 3-month. This could be something that could be an opportunity for you to pick up. You have decent volume. The 24-hour trading volume is kind of low. I'd like to see this well over the 2 to 3 million range for the size it is. But this is where you can find those hidden gems as well. So right now we have, of course, Aerodrome. We have Velodrome. We have Ords. We have, of course, Ondo. The 2 I'm going to say to watch out for, which are on Twitter here, these ones are going viral, is going to be Wisdom. I don't have any connections or affiliations to these at all, guys. These are just being pulled up. I actually have a call with these guys soon, but they're starting to go viral. They're being launched by CDeFi, ChainGPT, and Singularity DAO, which is an AI-driven crypto trading insight platform again. So this is another AI play here that's coming out. So watch out for that. But then it's the RWA world, which is Plume, which is bringing real-world assets to the mass. It's an infrastructure play for the development of tokenization. So there is those, right? So if you guys are looking for those on Twitter, I do have my eyes out on them. I don't have any thoughts past that though. Like, can you get in the pre-sale? Like, I don't even know. Like, I really don't know. These are just from today for the questions that I've had. So if you guys have any more you want me to pull up on Twitter though and do deep dives into, let me know. I do think AI is going to make a comeback and there'll be great opportunity there. But from that, it's going to be Bitcoin Layer 2. So my favorite plays, guys, are going to be Ondo. Okay. It's going to be Ondo. And you guys are like rolling your eyes like, Josh, we get it. We get it. Well, okay. I'm bullish. Like, look, it's a $1 billion market cap. And I think this thing can go to 10 billion easily. And it's just a blue chip altcoin at this point, in my perspective. You have that. You have, specifically, can we get a deep dive on Base? 100%. I'll start working out on it. How about DGen on Base? DGen's another huge one. This is why it was part of the liquidity pool. I think it's this one. It is this one. But I haven't done a huge deep dive into it, though. But it was held in the protocol we were just watching. Turning content into currency. DGen has an ERC20 token launched in January 2024. Has reshaped the Farcaster ecosystem by enabling casters to reward others with DGen for posting quality content. So it's just like I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Is this for like? I have to research that, but I can pull up those as well. We could do a deep dive maybe into that later this week here with you guys. I'll leave that one up. Yeah. How high do you think render can go this Boren? I want to be shocked if it went to 30 to 40 bucks. If Bitcoin goes to 95K, like the expectations are going to get blown out of the water. But the good thing is to like minimize expectations and risk manage your portfolio, or else you're just going to keep waiting for a price point that never comes, like XRP holders. They're going to wait for $1,000, which will never come. Ondo price prediction. Dude, I honestly think Ondo can hit $5 this bull run very easily. It's a blue chip in my position and portfolio. I hold tens of thousands of dollars in Ondo. So it's like, it's just one of those plays. It's up there with my Link. Like, it's going to be a top contender in my portfolio. Target for C-Swap. With their implementations, I think they can be, I want them to grab a partnership with Chainlink. I want them to grab, and get into that system because they've proven themselves here over and over again. I think you could easily see $1 on this thing. I do, especially if we go to 95. Again, you're talking, it depends on your price point. If Bitcoin doesn't go back to 75K and we just collapse here, obviously altcoins are going to maintain that. So you have to adjust the data as it comes in. We need to wait for the inflation numbers. We need to wait for NVIDIA's earnings report. We need all these things to come in to know those price points, and we adjust along the way. If you're someone that's coming into crypto, let me make this clear. If you're someone that's coming into crypto and is going to hold, create, like for me, I study these charts every single day. I could, something might flag tomorrow where I'm hopping out of these, and taking profits because of a massive bearish indicator, right? I don't know. It's why you got to stay up to date with the markets. You can't just come into crypto, buy something and expect it to go up forever, right? You can't just go, okay, what's the expectation here of 2020? Everybody's like, oh, bull run's going to go into 2025. Okay, maybe it does. Maybe it peaks. Maybe we get a blow off top and see 120K Bitcoin around the presidential elections. We can't predict the future, right? So as that data comes in, that's what makes us go, okay, hey, maybe once we're up 3-4x, we should scrape off 60-70% off the table, take out the initials, put them in stable coins, let the rest ride, right? So those are the questions. I'm not attacking anybody out here either. I just want you guys to know that's where I'm at. That's what I'm hoping to bring to you guys. Because I know I could do that. Not a lot of creators are able to do that. We need to have that risk management. We need to have that sense of reality. And we need to, look at everything from a macro impact. We need to understand, take looks at what's happening in the Middle East with oil production. Not a lot of people realize the Strait of Hormuz, if that shuts down, that's going to affect commodities in a rate that people would not expect. And we've been very close to seeing that with things like the Iran crisis between them and Israel not too long ago. It's why oil markets and markets were getting really, really wobbly just a few weeks ago. It's why markets pulled back. So you have to adjust and analyze risk on both a geopolitical level and a micro level to be able to get in and out of these markets. It is a very, very volatile market. We are smaller than the size. Have you ever seen this, guys? Assets by market cap, right? Have you guys ever seen this list? Like, this needs to be put into perspective. Like, for the creators that are out there just telling you guys, these are going to 100x. Like, they're smoking ganja and they're just going to ruin their communities because 90%... Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, there's 500 beautiful people in this chat, and please smash that like button if you guys enjoy this. I'm going to be completely real with you. You're not going to hit 100x. Life is rough, and then that's what my teacher always told me in high school. Whenever I have a math problem, she'd be like, all right, life's rough. Life's rough. That's what you got. Guys, I've hit 2 100x's in my entire time in crypto. One was a pre-sale. The other one, which was Axon DAO, which the entire community did, it was a 300x. It was crazy. We made a disgusting amount of money off that, and literally the entire community got it. The other one was Decentraland Mana. Okay? Decentraland Mana. How many in chat are actually bullish on... Nobody's bullish on Decentraland. Have you ever played Decentraland? It is like terrible, boring graphics. Like, I don't even know how... 100x because Meta changed their name from Facebook to Meta. And I saw my portfolio just poof, just like that. The only way you hit 100x is by patience in being in these markets and following trends. And it is a very, 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 very small amount of the actual population that's going to hit that. Realistic expectations... Almost everybody I know that's been in the crypto market for, at least one cycle, you're going to see a 10x, right? If you're diversifying and playing properly, you will. But again, you have to diversify it. Like, I follow 25, 25, 50 strategy, which is 50% blue chips, Bitcoin, ETH, Ondo, Link, which Ondo is creeping up there. But that could be Matic. It could be Cardano for you. It could be Polkadot for you. It could be, these top market cap altcoins. The next 25% needs to be in your mid caps and, high 100 millions, right? Products that may have been around for a while. Maybe your Aptos, your Optimism, your Hederas, your Quants, right? That's going to be your mid cap range. Then a small position of your portfolio should be that VC strategy where you're finding altcoins, right? You shouldn't have 10% of your portfolio in an altcoin that has, a $5 million market cap. You're just asking to lose your money. You're more than likely going to lose your money, right? So have these strategies as you approach this market. And I'm telling you, someone that's been through multiple cycles, that is where you make the money. It's going to be off you deploying your capital and saying, look, let me give you an example here. I called decentralized science. I was the first person to ever even call it. We've been talking about, we coined the term DeFi through social media because we heard it through, I don't even remember we heard it through. And I was in decentralized science for years because of a project called Vector Space AI. But let me go to watch list here. Watch list, and then we're going to click on decentralized science. I made the first ever decentralized science watch list over a year. This right here, this decentralized science public watch list has been out for over a year before DeFi became a thing, right? We were dollar cost averaging into all these projects. Instead of picking one of them, at the time there was like 10 of them, every single one I bought, I bought every single DeFi token except RSC Research Coin. The reason why I didn't buy Research Coin is because even though it was backed by Coinbase and Brian Armstrong, they hadn't done anything with it for like 2 years. And I was like, okay, maybe it's a dying project. They're going to sunset it. Turns out, okay, the $10,000 I deployed into it, Data Lake was at 0.001 and it went to 4 cents. It did like a 60 to 70x at one point for Data Lake. Made tens and tens of thousands of dollars at Data Lake. Genomes DAO, same thing, 0.001 when we first started talking about. Vita DAO, we got in actually around this range and it flash crashed to 80 cents and we bought a massive bag at 80 cents, right? Research Coin, when I first started talking about this, it was under a penny, or it was like a penny, or maybe 2 pennies, but it did like a 50 to 100x. Every single one of these you could look on here, we made tons of money off of it. It's because we diversified. I said, hey, I think there's a lot happening in the sector. I don't know which one's going to be the winner, but I'm going to deploy like a VC. Let's say it was $5,000 at the time. I put 1,000 to each token. It allowed me to hit multiple 50x's. It took years though. I was in those products all for over a year. They did nothing. And then one day CZ tweeted out, I like biotech. And every project did 50 to 100x's. Excuse me. I just kind of got a little too excited there. I got to run. Thanks, Sean. Anytime, Gary, man. Appreciate you, homie. Target for CDX. CDX is another project that we're going to be taking on the wings here. Really cool AI protocol infrastructure play where you can develop and build out really a lot of different things with their website on any single chain. Really, really cool. It's pretty much just a way codeless. You don't need to know how to code. You can build apps. And I think this is going to be a huge trend in AI is once people, can create easy code and anybody can launch a website. You can launch a video game, a launchpad service, or anything like that through simply an AI tool and don't need to know how to code. That's what they do here at the plugins here. Is a pretty sick sponsorship. But past that is Arculus, guy. If you don't already have Arculus, I got to shout them out. Our studio guys here is powered by Arculus. We have a long-term partnership with them. Make sure you guys go down to the description below. If you don't have your hardware wallets, like, I don't know what you're doing at this point, guys. Go get that one-tap security. You get 10% off using our code in the description below. Get your crypto off exchanges. You shouldn't have it on there unless you're trading. And this is the easiest hardware wallet you could ever use. It fits in your wallet. Your mom can use it. Your grandma can use it. It takes 60 seconds to set up. And the people that invented this, guys, are essentially the founders and creators of every single metal hard credit card you ever use in your life. The security to this is a maximum. It's a beautiful product. It's clean. It's crisp. And it's 3-factor authentified, guys. That's what I got for you guys today. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in our next live stream. Peace out, y'all.